You are listening to the Young Sports Cast. Stay tuned.
Analysts are still saying that the Chicago Bears are going to stick with the number one overall pick and pick Williams. I still disagree with them. I think they're going to stick with Justin Fields. I've talked about that before, but let's just get away from that entire subject. And let's talk about what Washington, New England, Atlanta. We're hearing rumors about Atlanta. We're hearing rumors about Minnesota, Denver, and Las Vegas. I think one of the key factors in this whole picks and where they are in their standings is when they had Senior Bowl, Bo Nix, Penix were projected to be a second-day pick. Senior Bowl, after Senior Bowl, they are still, by analysts, projected to be a second-round pick. That means that there's three quarterbacks to be taken in the first round. That is Daniels, May, and obviously Williams. That definitely helped the Chicago Bears out if they so choose to trade that first overall pick away, because you just eliminated two quarterbacks out of the first round. Now, I think I'm going to work backwards here a little bit. We're Las Vegas. That's an interesting one there. So Las Vegas goes out and hires Luke Getsy. Obviously, he used to be the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. What are the chances he had chemistry towards the end and they started winning games? What are the chances that the Raiders take or try to grab Justin Fields? Now, if we look at what it's going to take to get that first overall pick, it's going to cost a lot. My personal projection is it's going to be 2 first-round picks, not including this year, and a second-round pick. I'm thinking big. Justin Fields, he's a starting quarterback. And analysts once again say Justin Fields, he's a second rounder. All they're going to get for him if Chicago does decide to trade him as a second round. I disagree with that. And here's part of the reason I disagree with it. Because going up to the first and second and third is going to be more than some teams want to pay. So the Raiders right now are at 13. For a first-round pick this year, they could possibly get Justin Fields if Chicago decides to go that route, which I'm just hypothetically throwing this out there. So now, not only did that first overall pick of Chicago get way more valuable, but so did Justin Fields. I'm not for sure what Vegas does, but they have to do something. So whether or not they come up, and I don't think they're in a position, we'll talk a little bit about Minnesota, but I don't think that they're in a position like Minnesota that they can get some quarterback in the second round, let him sit for a couple of years. I don't see that. They need a quarterback today. So what they do with that, I don't know. But they could obviously come up and get the pick. Or they could take Justin Fields with Luke Getsy. I just don't think that's a good mesh there. I think that's why the Chicago Bears got rid of Luke Getsy. There was something even at the end, even though they were winning games, that they didn't mesh well. And we know that conversations that got blown out of proportion, but the conversation that Justin Fields had with the media said, I'm a robot and I can't play this way. So I don't see them picking up Justin Fields, but I'm just hypothetically throwing some options out there. Let's talk a little bit about Denver. Denver's at 12. But here's the interesting thing about Denver. They have been known to sell the farm to get what they want. So the Denver Broncos traded 3 players and 4 draft picks, 2022 and 2023, for Wilson. Denver sent quarterback Drew Lock, Shelby Harrison, Noah, along with 2022 first, second, and fifth round picks and a 2023 first and second round picks. They sold the farm to get Russell Wilson. So what are they going to be willing to do to get to the number 1 overall draft? I think they even had to get picks for and pay Sean Payton to pull him away from New Orleans. I just think Denver is going to spend the picks to get the quarterback that they want. I think they add a huge value. There's another Justin Fields option. I don't necessarily see it. But I do see them coming up. I see them trading away because there's no way at Minnesota, Denver, and Las Vegas, 11, 12, 13, that any one of those 3 quarterbacks are left. Those 3 quarterbacks are gone. My projection is in the first 4 picks. Let's talk about Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota comes up. I don't think they draft up, and here's the entire reason that I feel that way. I think that they re-sign Cousins to a 2-year contract, guaranteed contract. They keep Cousins on as quarterback, and then I think in the second round they go after, and they might come up in the draft a little bit to get the quarterback they want. But I think they get Nix or they get Penix. Let them sit behind Cousins. Let them grow behind Cousins, because I think they're absolutely a first-round pick with a little bit more growth. So that's where I see Minnesota going. Getting their quarterback, second round, re-signing Kirk Cousins. Atlanta. It's interesting. Sometimes I like to look at the fan bases, and right now the Atlanta fan bases are saying, send us Justin Fields. We want Justin Fields. We want Justin Fields. If the ownership is listening to that at all, I think they have to do something. I'm not 100% sure if they come up. I do believe they come up, or they try to trade for Justin Fields. So that'll be interesting as well. Washington. Hires Cliff, Dan Quinn. I don't know what to say. I think they come up and they spend the picks, and they get that first overall pick from Chicago Bears. And I think some of it comes down to, so when Ben Johnson was going to interview for the head coach job, obviously that didn't work out, but there was some rumblings about this is a basketball organization. The Washington Commanders is a basketball organization. And I think that the new ownership says, you know what? We're tired of not winning. We're tired of being a nobody. And now you're calling us a basketball club? That's it. We're going to do whatever it takes to prove our people and our fan base that we are going to win. And I think they sell the farm to get that first overall pick and to prove that we are in this to win. And we are a great football team. And we're going to be a different organization based on this new ownership versus the old. I think they come up and get that number 1 overall pick, but they're going to have competition. There's no doubt about it. The other teams that I mentioned, there's going to be more competition in this. Chicago trades away to Washington for possibly 2 first-round picks. Obviously this year, next year, and a second-round pick, and probably another first-round pick. Then, from there, Chicago says, you know what, we're either going to take Marvin Harrison or we're going to trade down again for another first or second round pick, which I think a second round pick, if they do swap, Washington to Chicago is still worth a first round, if not 2 first round picks. And like I said, there's only 3 quarterbacks. So this is going to be an interesting few months. And I think what polls said is correct, and what analysts are saying, he's going to drag this thing out and make that worth go up and up and up and up. Thanks for listening and tuning in.